saying. My son is in the basement tied up at his house. I just saw him through the window. The police was out here earlier and did absolutely nothing. Both cell phones are on the ground and we can see the people. Him and his girlfriend are tied up in the basement.
Tonight, horror as 2 young lives are snuffed out and their killer is on the loose as we speak. Was this a robbery gone bad, or was this couple specifically targeted, and if so, why? A grieving mom joins me tonight in her desperate search for justice. The bodies of her 21-year-old son, Johnny Clarke, and his 20-year-old girlfriend, Lisa Straub, were discovered inside their Ohio home a week ago. Their hands were tied. Their heads were covered with plastic bags. The couple appears to have suffocated to death. There were no signs of a break-in. Earlier that night, Johnny was on the phone with a friend when Johnny suddenly starts speaking to some apparent stranger who's in the house, and he drops the phone. That worried friend, who was on the other end of the line, calls Johnny's mom eventually. His mom then makes the first of 3 calls to 911. Listen.
All she hears is the phone drop and my son Johnny saying, "Who are you? What do you want? What are you doing here?"
Police made 2 visits to the home. They say they walked around the house, peered in the windows, but saw nothing wrong. Finally, Johnny's dad went to the house, kicked in the door, and made this horrific discovery. So what happened to Johnny and Lisa? What are your theories? Give me a call, 1-877-JVM-SAYS. Straight out to my very special guest tonight, Maytee Vasquez, Johnny Clarke's mother. First of all, Maytee, our deepest condolences. We are so very sorry this has happened to you. I can't imagine what you are feeling right now. We want to help you find justice. And to that end, tell us about your son. He was yelling into the phone, "Who are you?" What do you think happened?
I think that him and Lisa were supposed to have guests come over, from what I'm hearing, and somehow I believe in my mind that this girl that made this phone call knows more than what she's telling. I think it was a setup. I think it was premeditated. I think they knew the parents were going to be gone and out of town. These people had gone out there a few nights in a row shooting pools with the kids, and they went in there to rob them.
Maytee, you've told... Maytee, if you could look up at me. I'm sorry, ma'am. You could look up into the camera. Thank you so much. This girl who apparently she waited before calling. In other words, she's on the other end of the line. Your son goes, "Who are you? What do you want?" Drops the phone, and she doesn't immediately call for help. She waits. Is that true?
She waits 2 hours. She waits 2 hours to call a friend of his that knows me and tells the friend, "I think something really bad happened to John and Lisa. I was on the phone with them. I heard such and such," you know what you repeated on the show earlier. And I heard Johnny drop the phone. I've gone by the house a few times. It looks ransacked. It looks like cabinets and doors are open. I think somebody needs to call Johnny's mom and tell him something bad has happened. And I asked the friend that called me to give me her cell phone number. She talks to me, tells me the same story. I'm asking her, "Why aren't you calling the police when you were on the phone with them at 11 o'clock? Anybody in their normal mind would have called the police if something like this is happening," and she has no explanation.
Well, there's so many things that I don't understand. Number one, if there's no break-in, how does this person or persons get into this home where your son was staying with his girlfriend without him realizing they've gotten into the house? Because he's on the phone.
The garage door.
What? The garage door?
The garage door.
Okay, so the garage door is open.
Everyone would enter in and out through the garage door. There was a key that would sit in a box next to the door that goes from the garage into the home. I've watched the kids many times pick out the key out of the box, open the door to the house, and put the key right back in.
Okay, so you think it's somebody who knew how to get into this house and maybe had been there before and had some kind of relationship with your son?
Or with Lisa.
Or with his girlfriend.
She knew more kids out in Springfield. My son didn't live out in Springfield.
What was your son doing there? Your son is what, 21 what is
21.
What did he do? What did he do? Was he at school? Did he have a job?
Johnny was in barber school. And Johnny had been staying with Lisa for the past few weeks. The kids were back and forth between my house and Lisa's house. They would stay at my house a week or two. They would go to Lisa's house a week or two. They were always back and forth.
Now,
and since the parents had the cruise planned to go out of town, the kids were going to be out there house sitting.
Police have raised the possibility that this might be a robbery gone bad. However, how do you explain that the cell phones, the wallets, and the computers of your son, who was viciously murdered, and his girlfriend, who was also murdered, were left behind? And they also found a key stamped with the numbers 544 under Lisa's body. So do you think that this was a robbery, or does it seem like something else was going on here?
I think it was premeditated. I think their intent was robbery.
But why not take all of that then?
Well, I don't know if there was money in the wallet or not. I think whoever did this is probably trying to make a statement of some type. She had a very jealous ex-boyfriend. You know, the kids were very kind kids, very trusting. My son would give the shirt off his back to anyone that needed it. He cut hair for a living till he graduated from barber school. That's what he was doing.
I have to ask you this, and this is not in any way, shape, or form to, you know, embarrass you or the family, but we are trying to solve this, and we want to find justice for you and your family. You've been through hell. Your son did have a criminal history. He served about 1.5 years for robberies he committed back when he was 18. So that was...
no, I'm not going to go into none of that.
Okay.
No, I'm not.
Okay. Quick question. Okay. Quick question.
No.
Do you think he had any enemies? That's all I'm trying to figure out.
No, he did not have any enemies. And actually, Lisa's boyfriend was in prison for robbery and just got out of prison a couple months ago.
Yeah. Again,
Lisa's
we're just trying to figure it out.
Yeah, my son, no, he didn't have any enemies. This has nothing to do with my son.
Okay.
She would be more connected to this than my son would.
Let's
These
rewind.
people knew.
Okay,
These
go ahead.
people knew her, and they knew how to get into her house.
All right. Can we rewind and take a...
My son did not live there.
Okay. And listen, I know you are suffering so much. We want to be part of making this a step toward justice. Okay, we understand that this is just the worst thing that could ever happen to a mother is to lose their son.
This is the most horrible thing that could ever happen to anyone. These people are demons that killed my son and Lisa. They need to be found, and justice needs to be served on them, okay?
Absolutely. And we want
These people need the death sentence. And somebody needs to crack and come forward. Okay, somebody needs to come forward because somebody knows what happened there that night. When I spoke to his friends, the house he was at before he went to pick up Lisa from work, where he had been playing his Xbox Live, he told them, I'm going to pick Lisa up from work, we're going back to the house, we have people coming over, we're gonna shoot some pool, okay?
Now let me ask you about this. I want to ask you about this. Police visited the home twice after you called 911, and they walked around the house and they said that essentially nothing seems suspicious. I think we can play a little bit of the 911 call here. Let's listen to that.
The family members that were concerned because they couldn't get a hold of John. Looked through windows that we could see through, our officers could see through, didn't see anything amiss.
Okay, so the officers went to the house. That's a spokesperson. They looked around the house. They didn't see anything amiss, so they didn't go into the house. Then your husband, or Johnny's father, gets to the house. He props himself on somebody's shoulders, and he sees in a window.
No,
and he
that's
sees.
wrong.
Okay, all right, then correct me.
That's wrong.
Tell me.
Okay, I will correct you. From the time I got the call from the girl, that another girl called her that says she had spoke to Johnny at 11 o'clock and she heard the struggle, the one that did not call the police for 2 hours and decided to contact a friend to contact me and say she felt something was terribly wrong, that she had gone by the house several times within that 2-hour time frame and seen the house was ransacked. I called the police from my house. I sent my husband out there. The girl met us out there with the police. The first set of police cars go out there, 4 of them. They investigate for 5 minutes and they leave. When I get out there, I called the police a second time. I was at the residence. I begged them to go in the house. I said, something is terribly wrong. Lisa's car is in the garage. There's all the vehicles are in the driveway and in the garage. My son's not answering the phone. He's a mama's boy. He would answer the phone to me at any time of the day or night whenever I would call him. The girl told the police that she heard the struggle at 11 o'clock at night. I asked the police, why would she wait 2 hours to call me, to have somebody call me to say something was wrong and that she'd gone out there a couple times, okay? She knew the cabinets were open. She said something was wrong, that she felt something bad had happened to Johnny.
So, do you feel she was in the house? Because if the cops couldn't see that the cabinets were open from the outside, that would imply that she had been in the house.
Yes.
All right. Well,
exactly.
On the other side of this, we're going to ask you what police are telling you about what happened.
Let me finish this.
Okay.
When the police were out there the second time, the girl gives the police the same statement. I'm begging for them to break in the house because I know something has gone terribly wrong. No kids are answering the phones. The house phone is not being picked up.
Right.
The dog's in the house. The cars are all in the garage. They said these kids are old enough. There's no probable cause. I believe there's probable cause from the girl's statement saying that she talked to them at 11 o'clock and she heard the struggle in the background.
So you feel that the police should have gone in sooner?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. The first time I made the call, I believe the police should have gone in. At least the second time when I was there. I know I'm working with law enforcement. I know this case is, you know, going to be solved. These murders are going to be caught. But it's just too bad that it didn't happen fast enough, okay? Now I'm haunted with a memory. What if my son was still alive? What if these criminals were in the house at the second time when we were out there? Or the first time when the police were there and nothing was done then. My husband, the third 911 call I made is when the police left the second time. I told my husband, no, we're gonna wait till the police are gone and you're going back through this house.
What is running through you when you feel that possibility that maybe while you were there, they were still inside?
That my husband was doing their job for them and that my son is dead in this house, that something horribly wrong has happened to my son. From hearing the 911, the call that the girl makes to another friend to make to me, I'm feeling in my gut, it's wrenching. Something is horribly wrong with my son. And Lisa, it's not like them not to answer the phone. He would answer the phone to me day or night and he would say, Mom, we're shooting pool, or Mom, we're sleeping, we're watching TV. I'm okay, I'm alive, I love you. That's what my son would say. I'm fine. Leave me alone. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I'll call you back. He would say, you know, if something was terribly wrong, and, you know, he would have been able to answer the phone, he would have told that girl, I'll call the police.
Mrs. Vasquez, we want to help solve this horrific crime. We know you're going through hell. We're going to do everything we can. We're not going to let this story go. Thank you. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for coming on.
Yes. And the third time when the police was called is when I had my husband prop up.
We have to go to break. We will stay on top of the story. Thank you. We're going to have more next with a team of experts. So hang in right there, viewers. We're going to have more on this and analyze this case, this disturbing case.